I would, obviously we're not going to hear anything now. Probably won't hear anything till later in the week. I seriously doubt the things. I think everything that happened with Tua this week, understand it's on the NFL side, but I think everybody, especially right now, is going to be extremely cautious, particularly from a medical perspective. They're not going to be willing to put someone out there if there's a just a glimmer of doubt that. So I would probably assume not, and then just be pleasantly surprised if he is. I agree. I think 8-4 is your new ceiling, um, for this team, and that might even be optimistic because of the schedule you've got right now. You, I mean, if nothing else, based on injuries coming into next week, be very surprised if Oklahoma's in the position where they can beat Texas. And then you've got two games at home. Even though they're at home, you've got Baylor and Oklahoma State that are right now better than Oklahoma. Uh, and so that's three right there. So if this team can get to 7-5, I think that's probably a more realistic ceiling currently. Um, I think the one thing that you also see is the lack of physicality. I think is a little bit shocking for me on the defensive side of the ball. And again, it's going to take a little bit longer, but it's the second week they've got pushed around, very similar to what happened last year with this team. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how that kind of continues to play out. But right now, it just doesn't look good. It just, like I said, it doesn't look good at all for the trajectory of this team this year. But yeah, that physicality is going to be something again in the offseason that's going to be very, very important. For Oklahoma to get where they need to get. And so, just some others, if you guys are interested. Um, just taking a break from OU for a split second here. Some other scores of interest across the country. Alabama up 14-0 on Arkansas. That's early in the second quarter. Oklahoma State's actually up on Baylor 9-3. About a little bit more than midway through the second quarter. Penn State's up on Northwestern 7-0. Kansas has a 7-0 lead over Iowa State. Just getting into the second quarter of play. See if Kansas can actually get to 5-0. Who would have thought Kansas 5-0 and Oklahoma would be 3-2 potentially at this point. And so you've got, let's see, those are the biggest games I think right now. That are happening across the country. Texas A&M and Mississippi State. No scores. You go into the second quarter there. And then you've got a couple of bigger ones tonight. You've got Texas and West Virginia. I think it's 6:30 tonight. You've got NC State and Clemson at 6:30 as well. And then those of you that are interested, you still follow USC. They actually play on ESPN against Arizona State tonight at 9:30. So a couple more questions, and then I'll go ahead and get off here um, for the rest of the days here. So USC will win a national championship within 3 years. That's quite possibly accurate, but they've still got to get better on the defensive side of the ball. They've been masked. They've masked their defensive performance as well with forcing a ton of turnovers, and so they're not in a huge better position than Oklahoma is on the defensive side of the ball. So we'll see. So not any more questions, just a lot of, as you would expect, a lot of, violent reactions here. So